Are you a sales bro and wondering why your business isn't working out? Keigan and I are going to tell you the thing that you were missing. Listen to the episode we just had. Digital agencies screw things up. Today we're going to talk with Keigan Carthy, founder of Vision Management, on how service-based agencies mess stuff up. Keigan's got 30 clients serving the nonprofit space, and I think there's no better person than for us agency owners to be able to learn from him, because we want to see you avoid some of these dumb mistakes we're covering today. Welcome, Keigan, to the Coach U Show.
Thank you, Dennis, for having me.
We're here in Vegas. We've closed a few deals just in the last couple of days. We were with Roger Wakefield in Dallas, also doing audits, closing deals with other service-based businesses. Keigan, what kinds of mistakes have you seen?
Oh, and we can go and talk for hours. It can be a 6-hour-long episode. But the biggest thing that I see, especially in the nonprofit space, nonprofits care about their clients and the people that they serve, or whatever you want to call them, more than just about anybody in any vertical. And the biggest disconnect is that the agencies don't care about the nonprofits, and they just see them as a paycheck or as a retainer. That's number one, just flat out not caring enough.
Isn't it amazing, something as simple as that? We just got off of a call half an hour ago with this one guy, Chris, who said that he got burned by the last 4 agencies. He's been spending $40,000 a year, and his wife is exasperated, saying, honey, how much longer can we continue to do this? And this guy talks to all these other people in his space. So it doesn't have to be nonprofits or plumbers or pool supply or whatever it is. This is the nature of working with service businesses. And us as agencies, I don't even like the word agency. I like to say service providers. When us as service providers are serving other people who provide a service, they expect certain things. And what Keigan said, as obvious as that sounds, you're probably not doing it. We just had lunch a couple hours ago with another person who reached out to us in a Facebook group saying, hey, really want to meet? And he already paid before we even met. That shows the level of trust. And in the Uber ride over there, I opened up my laptop and I said, Keigan, watch this. I looked up this guy's LinkedIn. I saw that he was from Bend, Oregon. I saw that he ran a transportation company before moving to Vegas and starting a pool company. I knew that he had a dog. I knew that's what he named the company after. I knew that he was involved in outreach. I knew all these different kinds of things, and I sprinkled that in the conversation. And even though this guy already believes that I know something about digital marketing, I think it was those details that told this potential client that we care. How important are those signals, and how can you tell the client, the prospect, that you really care?
First impressions are everything, and just like you said, what you did on the car ride over, it's just doing some basic research on the person that you're meeting with. This can go for any vertical. It doesn't matter what you're in. Just look at their LinkedIn, look at their background, what have they done in the past. Just have some talking points so you're not just making small talk just for the sake of it. Just doing basic, simple things like that can allow you just to show the client, well, this guy did his research. Obviously, he cares at some level.
You could have the flashiest sales presentation. You could be the most whiz-bang digital marketing genius, cutting-edge AI tool, crypto using bro. But people do business with people. And this guy who just signed up with us half an hour ago, I asked him, so why did you reach out to us? Why did you want to work with us? And what did he say?
Can't remember the exact wording, but it was people recommended you because they like you and they trust you.
It's that simple. And it was Martin Jones who said, Chris Carthy, and that's his name. I'm using all their actual names because he gave us permission. And after we did this audit call on this Are You Googleable thing that we've been auditing the SEO and digital performance of all these agencies. He said, Martin Jones said, you know, you've wasted all this money and been burned by all these agencies. You need to talk to Dennis Yu. And because of that, did we need to ever sell him? We didn't even have to go into the details of the audit. He was ready to go. He was ready to pay, ready to do all these things. But because I wanted to enhance the trust, and I didn't want to look like all these the last 4 agencies that he fired, what did I do instead?
You just said, hey, I don't want you to pay us until we start to deliver the results for you.
And this is a guy who last year did $2 million, which is actually not a lot of money in local service businesses. And the last few months have been really bad because at one point his marketing was working and then it wasn't working. And this other guy was in charge of the AdWords, but he didn't have access. This client didn't have access to his own Google Ads account, didn't know what was going on, has no idea. And each of these guys charges him again for another website, like another 5,000, another 10,000. The guy we talked to yesterday, 20,000 for the website. They have no idea. So I said, you know what? Not even going to charge you for doing these fixes. You just pay the cost for Google local service ads. You pay the cost for us to hire someone on Upwork in Pakistan for like $600 to do the fixes to the website that we identified. And then only when you win first are we going to get paid. And I've done this kind of deal a lot of times. But wouldn't you think, Keigan, that you'd offer this thing like, hey, you know what, Mr. Client, I'm going to work for free and then I'm going to pray and hope that if things work well, that then you're going to pay me? That sounds like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it?
It does.
So how can you tell whether you should even offer that and when is it going to work?
I think to kind of go back a little bit, you have to put your money where your mouth is if you're going to do that. If you're so confident in your services that you're going to get results, then working for free to get a win for a client first, that shouldn't be an issue. That should be how it is. Because marketing agencies, we have a stigma. I've said this on a ton of other podcasts, my own. There's a stigma, especially around young adults, kids, whatever you want to call it, my age, that will do anything to get $1,000 a month retainer. But putting your money where your mouth is really how you get around that and start to build trust.
Right. And it wasn't a desperate kind of thing, because I know a lot of young adults, they feel that they need to say whatever because the month end is coming and they got to pay rent. Or they have to show a nice watch or show this Instagram kind of fake lifestyle because they think that's going to impress the client. It only impresses the other sales bros. But here, I told him, you know, I think you have all the right ingredients and we're willing to work with you. And I didn't say take you on as a client. I didn't say we're an agency. I said we're willing to work with you if you can do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now there's stuff on him. And if you do 1, 2, 3, and 4, then our guys are going to do 4, 5, 6, or 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is. And then I know if we follow that formula, it's going to work. Now this guy, Keigan Carthy, who builds custom pools in Louisville, Kentucky, I knew that we could take him on because, listen to this, he is a successful pool builder who does a really good job. How do I know? I read his Google reviews, I see his online presence, I see he's got examples of his work. And there's a lot of people in service-based businesses that are really good at what they do, but they suck at marketing. This guy's website was a disaster. We looked at the homepage, it showed this beautiful pool, but it was this LA pool and with stock art that's used on like 50 other websites. There was nothing there on his website that showed that he was actually good at the thing that he says that he does. There was nothing there that said that he was in Louisville, Kentucky and the different neighborhoods there and East Louisville and other areas where the rich houses are where he's building custom pools. There's nothing there that showed the step-by-step on how his crews go out there and build these pools and figure out I don't know anything about how to build pools, but I could tell that he was earnest and he did a good job. So here's the number one thing. Because I know that he's already good at his trade, digital marketing is a multiplier of that. And thus, it may seem bold of me, at least from his standpoint. He's thinking, well, all the previous marketing agencies have goofed it up. So how do I know that Dennis and team are going to be able to do a better job? Is it because I'm super competent at digital marketing?
No.
No. What is it?
I think what it is, it's because there's people that recommended you. That is why.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, people buy from people. And sure, somebody can like you all that they want, but it's what the other people around somebody says about them.
Yeah. And then when we were there, I think he mentioned that he saw we were with Roger Wakefield because we were in Dallas the last 4 days. And then I opened up my texts, and during that call, just 2 minutes prior to him saying that, there was a text from Roger Wakefield, a selfie of him and one of our other friends, because we're all in this small circle of people that serve the trades or other service-based businesses. And when Keigan was hanging out with us for 4 days with Roger and these other folks, other people that are in my network, that are in Roger Wakefield's network, see that. Now, that trust, you don't know this, but all these other people saw that you were hanging out with Roger. And some of these people that follow Roger, who has several million followers, are also in the nonprofit space. And you might not know that. But then some point down the road, a couple months later, someone's going to say, hey, Keigan, I run this nonprofit, or I saw you speak at N10 in Portland. Or they won't even say that they saw him with Roger. Just that trust will be there, though. And if you ask, it'll come out and they'll tell you. And that's why I asked this guy, I said, so why did you come to me? And he told us. And when I mention this, other people say, well, you need to be a big deal, like Dennis. And it doesn't apply to me because I've only been in digital marketing for a year or two. And like Dennis has been around forever, so he can do that. No, it's not. It's not the case.
I've been around digital marketing now. I founded my agency, I want to say, a year and 8 months ago now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. And already Keigan's got 30 clients. And a lot of that is word of mouth. A lot of that is people that are friends, because people do business with people. There are friends of mine that it's not because I'm trying to get a commission, but I'll say, you know what? Keigan Carthy is the guy for you. And did you pay me a referral commission?
Absolutely not.
No. Because I believe in this guy. And I'm saying it publicly. And this is being recorded. And people see that. People can tell when you're trying to manipulate them into something. People can tell when you don't have, just like the vibe is not right. People can tell, right? Like they might not, maybe they're a plumber and they don't know anything about SEO, but they can tell when, it's like, you ever been to a restaurant, like a Chinese restaurant maybe, and like they're talking about you in Chinese, but you don't know what they're saying, but you know they're talking about you and you know it's not good,
yeah.
Right? It's like that, right? People can tell, like you don't want to treat people like they're dumb. So in the whole developing trust, to get to the point where they're willing to buy with you, it is all about people and the relationships and doing a good job in one category, like for nonprofits, so all the nonprofits talk about you. If you try to do everything, you'll never be able to build enough density in one particular vertical. That's why you have to niche down. The second part, which I think is even more important, which does tie back into the first part, is you've got to do a good job. So how do I know for this pool builder that we're going to do a good job? Because he already is doing a good job at the thing that he does. So us applying our techniques, meaning he's bringing the ingredients, and we're applying it to a business that already does a really good job in building custom pools, it's going to work because digital is an amplifier of what's already there. We're not trying to come up with some new campaign or do TikToks or some cutting edge thing. No, we're merely trying to show to people that want to get their toilet fixed or got bit by a dog or their car broke or they need a pool or whatever it is that people need a service for, this is the person for you, right? And it's that simple. Like you've done this for Habitat for Humanity, and you're getting donation campaigns. I would bet that Keigan has fed in custom audiences of other people that have made donations so that Facebook or Google or these other networks can find other people just like that because he's fed in the signal and let the system do the work for him.
You were absolutely spot on with that.
And how'd you do that?
Learning how to do it or just did it in general?
Or just like, what's the technique there? What's the secret? How do you break it down to 3 steps?
3 steps, if we want to talk about the audience. First of all, they're getting donations, number 1, which means they're doing something correct. Second, we just ask their CMO for the list and the people that have donations because they track it all in a CRM. Pull that list and throw it into Facebook and let the algorithm do the work.
Yeah. And if you choose conversion as the goal, like a donation, or you choose leads, or you choose whatever the thing you want more of, Facebook or TikTok or Google or any of them except for LinkedIn and Twitter will give you the thing that you want, right? So I know that when we're doing deals with any kind of service-based business, if they're doing the thing that they say they do really well, and they have proof of that, and they can make little videos for us to be able to run inside ads, landing pages, SEO, create books, whatever it is, and then we come in with $1 a day, choosing to conversion as the lead, whatever the objective is, I'm choosing that objective, I'm going to drive sales, and then that reinforces that whole word of mouth, which then causes more of the referrals, which comes back into stage 1. So if you've done a really good job for one particular client, and you want to get 20 more of that same kind of client, then they're a lighthouse. Like I love doing lighthouses. So for example, I wrote this book together with Perry Marshall. And it's on TikTok. We have the #1 best-selling book on Facebook ads, #1 bestseller on Google. And this one is just repurposing something that's already working. Short form video, which this guy knows a lot about, and putting it out there to be able to get more authority. But all I'm doing is leveraging something that's already working. I'm leveraging the reputation of somebody who already has got a lot of power. I'm creating this podcast explicitly with Keigan because I want to leverage being associated with him and vice versa. Because when you co-create content, now people that don't know me, but they're in Keigan's audience will say, hopefully this guy Dennis is intelligent and saying smart things, and vice versa, right? I challenge you. How much of your content is just pure sales? Would you like to get an additional 10 leads per month? Contact me and we guarantee that you as a, whatever the industry is, will get another 10 leads. Book a discovery call now. What kind of nonsense is that? You know? Versus you're co-creating content like this. We're not even selling you anything. We're just openly sharing exactly how we do everything. Like my buddy Josh Nelson, he teaches exactly how he started a $6 million a year agency that serves plumbers and HVAC companies, right? Here it is, step by step. There's nothing held back. We're not holding anything back. Like pull that book, that gigantic book you have here. This is only volume 1 of 3 of our operations process guide. And this, look at this. This is no joke. This literally shows all the SOPs that we have. All public. Give it away. Yep. Yeah, because how likely is a client going to want to go through that?
Yeah, no chance. You can hit them over the head with that.
Because digital marketing is really easy, right? And then we show how in-depth it is to hire VAs, to fix websites, to troubleshoot the pixel, to do like whatever it is, right? And actually things like LSA, local service ads, are not really hard. Using ChatGPT to enhance location service pages is not very hard. But there's 1,000 of these, right? And you got to be able to diagnose what's going on. So Keigan, you've seen by now a lot of these sales calls, if you will, where someone has come to me and they said, I'm in pain, I really need help. I fired my last agency and I'm coming to you. I really want to work with you. And then I close them. But did I? What have you noticed? And what can people learn from this?
Biggest thing that I've noticed is you have to give to get. And what I mean by that is you're showing the client or whoever is on the call, sales call, the exact step-by-step process that they can go off and implement themselves. Because people don't want to pay for knowledge. They want to pay for implementation. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're walking through a website step-by-step. Okay, this is why your domain authority is low. This is why you don't rank on keywords. Here's exactly how you can fix it. And not once do you say, hey, we can do this for you.
Right.
It's if you do, it's if you want. That's it. It's not like...
And here's the guide. If you want to do it yourself, you can go through all of it yourself. You can have your people do it. You can hire someone on online jobs or Upwork, whatever, to do it.
Yeah. You're not framing anything. You're not making it seem like you know so much more than them. It's, hey, this is exactly how you can do it yourself. These are the... You want us to help? Okay, great. This is what we need from you. Simple as that.
And we treat them like patients in the emergency room. So we diagnose and we treat. And that's what Eric Huberman does. He runs Hawk Media. They did $500 million last year as a digital agency. So they come in, and instead of a salesperson there to close, you have, like Matt, you ever been to the emergency room? You ever get sick or whatever, and they x-ray you to see where the broken bone is, or see like what the MRI, see like where the issue, their nerve damage is, like whatever it is, you got a car accident, right? And so that's not a doctor trying to sell you the surgery. They're diagnosing. You're in pain. There's no need to convince that person they're in pain. We're diagnosing what's going on. And okay, well, it looks like, Keigan, that you have a broken bone here and your vitamin C levels are low. So here's what we're going to do. Do the surgery and then here's some vitamin C.
Yep. Okay?
So I diagnose and I treat. And if the surgeries are expensive. And in fact, if the surgery is like, oh, that'll be like $58, you're like, what? I don't know what kind of surgery this is. I don't think I want to go to that hospital. But us, as digital marketing professionals, need to act more like doctors in the emergency room than used car salespeople. And I can't tell you how many people goof up deals by acting like salespeople. Instead of treating these people like they're intelligent, they might not know about digital marketing, but they're an astute business person. They know a lot about their particular kind of business, which we probably don't know very much about. And so when we respect that, that comes across, and that causes people to trust you and want to work with you. And it goes back to what Keigan is saying about building relationships and trust. People say that all the time, But when I see them in action, I've sat in on a lot of these new client engagement calls, and I've seen them go south because people don't follow this simple concept. Because they think that confidence is something that you just have to puff yourself up with, right? Like in some sales thing. And competence is what drives confidence. If you know what you're doing, because you've done it for 10 other plumbers, then when the 11th plumber comes on, it's the same thing because you already know what to do, you've already seen it, you know their language. There's no fear or anxiety about whether you're going to do a good job. So when we come in and diagnose someone's SEO to see like what they're ranking on or not, it's easy. There's no hesitation. We see it instantly. And we've published hundreds of these audits. I put it out there publicly. And at the end of these audits, we ask these people, hey, can we publish this? Can we share with other people how we were able to figure out what keywords you rank on and what you need to do and all this? Like, oh yeah, for sure, love to tell everybody about it. You know, when people enter Zoom, I always have the recording feature on by default in Zoom. So then you get that little warning saying, this call is being recorded, and you have to hit OK. Technically, because of that, you can use what they have. But because I want to go an extra layer further, I always ask them at the end, hey, I would love to uplift you. I would love to be able to help other people that are just like you. Just like we said with Chris Carthy.
Yep.
Other pool companies or home service companies, they're struggling in the same way. They also paid $40,000 a year and don't know what they got. They lit money on fire. Would you like to help these other people? He said, absolutely, you can share everything, blah, blah, blah. And we have it on video, and my lawyer told me that that is legal consent.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, but it's worked well for me for the last 30 years or however long, so I figure it's a good thing. But I don't see other people do that. Blows my mind. What other things can agencies own? What other things can agency owners learn about these big mistakes in either closing deals or servicing clients?
Closing deals, that's some quotations for any audio listeners. Care about the client, that's the non-negotiable. These people are a lot smarter than you, more often than not, and they know if they're being sold to. The Chris Carthy, staying on him, he said he met with 3 other local marketing agencies before him. And he said after he got out of each meeting, he wanted to vomit because just recycled, just trying to sell him the entire time. In regards to servicing clients, that varies, but you have to do a good job.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to put your money where your mouth is. If 3 months later you don't do a good job for your client, you don't meet your deliverables that you said you were going to execute on, do the right thing, refund them.
Yeah. But if you're a sales bro and you already blew that money in Cancun and it's gone, then you're going to have some hemming and hawing to do. So just before we hit the record button, Chris Carthy sent me a note, and he said, this is what he said. You can read it, and I'll read it for you. Really appreciate you, man. This is what he said right after our call. I really feel like I can get a purpose with all this again. Thank you so much. So glad I did not sign on with any of the next companies. Please send that marketing video when you can. Love to watch it on the wrongs. In other words, if you do a Google search for own your own marketing, Dennis Yu, you'll see 5 ways that agencies try to trick you. It's a YouTube video of me and Marco Cipolla. And that thing has gotten a lot of agencies in trouble because it's empowering clients to know what questions to ask on, do you own the market? Do you own your assets? Do you know how to audit the agency? Can you log into the Google Ads account or Facebook account and click on the account history and see, has anyone even logged in the last 3 months and made any changes? Or are they just like auto-billing you and hoping nobody notices? Things like that, right? How to deal with the excuses when they say, oh no, we can't give you access to the ads account because, you know, it's like private, or because we have 50 other clients on the same thing, or we're going to give you this other dashboard. You can go log in there and see like a very limited view while we actually maintain control. Like we go through that whole thing. And that transparency thing, it's not because we're trying to rip other agencies. It's because it generates trust and it's the right thing in the marketplace, because we are putting forward the standard that everyone else who's a major player in the industry is agreeing with. Which sounds like a bold statement, but if you Google it, you'll see that it's true.
And don't take us wrong, not saying that you have to have a 100% success rate, because God knows that I do not. but you have to at least be honest and truthful with your clients and try to give them the best results that you can.
Yeah. And this is something that people argue with me about, but I don't believe in locking people into annual contracts. And I know other people that will just yell and scream about why it creates commitment if they're not serious, and things go up and down, and sometimes you have seasonality, you got to lock them to a contract. But if you're good at what you do and you can build the relationship, so there's perceived value, not just actual performance, but the perceived performance as well, they're going to stick with you, right? We're not having to chain them up to keep them paying with us. I mean, it's like, it might have been before you were born, but there was like BMG and Columbia House, and they had this thing where you could get like 12 CDs for a penny. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, no.
And this was before you were born. Yeah. You get 12 CDs for a penny. So all of us, we'd sign up and choose all of our favorite songs and albums. And then in the fine print, it signed you up for this membership for the next year that you couldn't cancel. And you had to buy everything after that at full price for a year, right? But I just feel like that's trickery. I feel like if they have to look at here's the thing I've noticed after looking at hundreds of contracts, maybe several thousand contracts in the last 30 years. If anyone has to look at the contract, something's wrong. Because you sign the deal and everyone's happy, we celebrate, you pop bottles because the client, wired you the money or whatever it is. But then if that client ever goes back to the contract, it means something went wrong, right? So sometimes it's come back on me where our team didn't do a good job. And I could say it wasn't me, it was one of these young adults that was in charge of this other thing that we put them in charge of. But no, it's still back on me. And if I make a post or video or whatever endorsing somebody, and then that person, someone hires that person, or they see that I'm hanging out with that person, that's on me.
100%.
I was at Traffic and Conversion Summit a couple weeks ago. Somebody came up to me and he said, "Dennis, there's something I've been dying to tell you. A year ago, you commented on one of my Facebook posts. Someone saw it and they hired me because of it. And now I have $1 million agency because of this one huge client that I got. And I just wanted to thank you for that." And at first I thought, you're going to tell me something bad that happened. Because, when someone comes up to you, like, you don't know, what is it? All right, tell me, what is it? Right? And it was a good thing. And he said, "In fact, I'm having dinner with him tonight. But I wanted to thank you for it." And because we know this whole law of reciprocity and the value of word of mouth and this whole thing that we've been talking about, I said, you know what? Can you just repeat what you said to me? And then I had him just re-explain that whole thing, and I got it here on my phone, and let's see if I can play it for you. Because I always store these things on my iPhone, right? And oh shoot, there's so many things here in Las Vegas. I don't know if I can find it. Wait, I think I can find it. I've got so many things in here, it's insane. Yeah, here it is.
The incredible power of networking.
Listen to this.
Story by Joshua Go.
All right, so Dennis comments on one of my posts that I made, and through that, one of the people that was connected with him went to my website, figured out what I was doing, and we got a client through that, did a full e-commerce ecosystem with him, finished the project. He lives right here in Vegas, and we just met him for lunch and had a really good relationship so far.
And see? You don't even realize the power of word of mouth. I don't even know who is watching this. I don't even know who you are. You're watching this. But this is creating value for Keigan and I. I don't know why more people don't create this co-created content. It's not because we're like trying to be on podcasts. Oh, you have to do a podcast because everyone else has a podcast. No, we're doing it because we are trying to uplift other people that we respect, because then you don't realize how many people see stuff on social media, but they don't comment. Like, I didn't know that this thing happened to this one guy. I didn't know. I wonder how many times that's happened. I wonder how many times something bad has happened because you or I, we did a bad job and then they told other people. It goes both ways. Mm-hmm. I really think this leveraged word of mouth thing, whatever you want to call it, is more powerful than any other kind of tool or ChatGPT or AI thing that you could ever use. And I feel like our clients and our community are doing our work for us. You want to grow your agency? If you're telling me, I was at this agency event for 3 days in Nashville just last week, and you know what the number one issue is these agencies say? They're paying?
Leads.
Leads. They want leads. And I look at them and I tell them, no, you think the problem is leads. What's actually the problem?
Word of mouth.
Yeah, they don't have a good reputation. I Google them and nothing pops up, right? That's why Roger Wakefield and I have this areyougoogleable.com, because we want to see, are you Googleable? So if what shows up on Google isn't good, or there's not much of you showing up on Google, or when we Google your name, it's someone else, is that an SEO problem? Is that like some technical problem?
Absolutely not.
It's not? Then what's the problem?
You are not leveraging other people so that you can rank higher.
Huh, really? So then what's the secret to SEO?
What we're doing right now.
That's right. And you don't have to be in a fancy studio. You can literally be in Las Vegas. You know what, one of my favorite things to do is that I discovered on the iPhone that you can change the screensaver background to be like whatever. And I have it rotate through pictures of my favorite people. So it's constantly going through pictures. So name, just for fun, I'll just prove it to you. Name any location in the world.
Let's go Calgary.
Calgary. Okay. So Calgary. I've got all these pictures and videos in Calgary. Let's see. If we go through here, we have, there's the airport, YYC. And there is the ice cream place. Oh, there's Tim Hortons. Can't go wrong with Tim Hortons.
No, you can't.
This is that one part, there's this overlook where you can
Yep.
see like down onto this,
Yep.
I like the tourists take pictures there, there's nice houses there. There's my buddy who runs a big agency. There is, oh yeah, I had dinner with Dave Albano and some other agency owners and speakers you can see. This is the chubby Dennis. There's Clinton Senkow. Clinton Senkow runs influensive.com, which is the #1 influencer site. I happen to have admin on that site. So when I interview other people, I can post it on this. And when I was at the Adidas headquarters, when I ran the Portland Marathon a couple months ago, this is what I did. Let me just show you. Like, you guys never see this. No one ever explains this stuff, but I just want to show you and then get Keigan's reaction. So I'm at the Adidas store. They have a gigantic Adidas shoe, and you can see if I click the I to hit the information, it shows you where it is. You can see this is the Adidas headquarters down here, right? And while I was there, I told some of my friends, hey, what can I get for you? So, you know, like, hey, they said they wanted some flip-flops.
And lead, it looks like for you.
You want that? And I'm just on a shopping spree. And then we bought, look at the size of this receipt. Do you see how long this receipt is? Look at how many things we bought, right? And so I bought him a pair of running shoes. I'm buying other people all the kinds of stuff that they wanted. I said, do you want a basketball? Sure, I'll get you the latest basketball. I didn't even know they had that. And look, Adidas. But here, what I'm doing is I'm doubling and tripling influence. So I'm in a cool place, like the Adidas company store, and I'm thinking, Clinton Senkow, we had dinner in Calgary. What can I do to honor that relationship? And did I ask him for anything in return?
Nope.
I said, dude, I know you're running a marathon, or I know, you know, you're trying to run a faster 10K or whatever. I've got the latest Adidas shoes that people can't buy or whatever it might be. And you said you wanted this. I was just thinking of you. And I take a little picture, a little video, and I say, hey, look, I'll literally prove it. This is, I live and breathe this. This is not some like thing I've done once in a while, right? So here it is. So he said, hey, can you get me a pair of these shoes? And I said, absolutely. So I got it and I shipped it to him. And then this. He took a picture of him wearing them once they came to him. Isn't that cool? Like every time I go to the Nike headquarters or Adidas, I know I'm just going to basically stuff as many shoes as I can into the luggages, right? I'll take them out of the boxes because it takes like too much room. And I can do all these good things. So anytime, like I travel a lot, I probably travel more than you do, but every time I go to some new place, I think, how can I bring back something cool for people? How do I honor those relationships, right? So when I was in Los Angeles, I had an extra few hours, and Mark Horvath, who's Keigan's client, and we did this sort of like walk and talk podcast. Instead of in a studio, we were just walking and talking in Hollywood. And we were talking about the issue of homelessness and what does it mean. And we were talking to some of these people who were homeless on the streets with their permission, of course. And what a great way to be able to honor friends. And then I'm introducing Mark to other people that I know, because why not? I know some other people in Hollywood, and I think that it would be mutually beneficial for them to be able to meet Mark. And our friend Dan Hewlin also lives in Hollywood, and he came out last week to see Roger and Keigan and me and Will and Parker. We flew a bunch of people in. And so this is what I want to show you, is this cross-pollination. You don't have to be traveling to all these different places to be able to cross-pollinate. If you look at my Facebook messages and you look at the number of conversations that I have, like here's my buddy Nilsson, who's a big pool company guy. And so he and I are chatting back and forth like good friends do. He happens to be a client, but you can see, look at this. Like, for example, he just bought this new pool supply place. Look, he said, here's the GMB and the website, and he's inside this place. He just bought this place a few days ago, and he's giving a little tour.
Tanto de parte que tem, eu vou ter que figure it out. Olha isso.
See, here he is.
What's going on, guys? Nilsson Silva. Got exciting news. We're in East Boca. We're taking over this store as we speak. We're literally taking the entire store down. We're gonna having a second location for our showroom. So
and I'm chatting with these guys like friends. Isn't that neat? And guess how many people follow Nilsson Silva, who's the Roger Wakefield of pool supply and pool cleaning? Because other people saw that I was with Nilsson. This was just a few days ago. Then other pool cleaner guys came to us, and you saw we had lunch with one of them today here in Vegas, and then we just did a Zoom call with another one. And that was because of the relationship with Nilsson. Did I pay Nilsson a commission?
Nope.
No. Did Nilsson want to say, like, if he says good things about me, then, I'll have to do all this other stuff for him?
Nope.
No, huh? Yeah, but I should be paying a commission, right? No? We should have like an affiliate program, right?
Yeah, there you go.
No? So what's the lesson here? You get the final word.
Symbiotic relationships. You don't want to just suck everything from one person. It has to go both ways for a relationship like this, or like all the relationships you just described, to work.
But do you see, this is what Keigan and I do. We live and breathe this way. And once you discover how this way of doing business is different than the sales bro trying to book 10 phone calls a day, trying to close them all, making promises you can't keep because they're going to refund on you and complain. Once you realize this way of doing business is so much nicer, it's just so good. And you, instead of like dreading client calls or dreading these messages from clients, because if you open that message, it's probably them complaining because they're unhappy. Instead, I'm rejoicing. It's like opening Christmas presents. I really like it. And I feel good about it. And I get energized. And the more time I spend with clients, even though I'm an introvert, the more excited I am, because I know if I look at the messages that have come in just in the last day or so, they're fantastic. This one just happened. This guy, you can't even make this up. This was this morning. This guy gave a lecture. And here this lecture is, he's quoting me. He's got my face there. You need universities not for information, but for mentorship, the accountability, and the structure. You can see there's my face there on the screen, right? He's teaching this thing at a university. And I don't even know who this guy is. But I say, hey, wow, that's really cool. He said, quoted you on the last slide of my presentation at a university where we had our WordPress meetups in front of college students taking computer studies. And look at this. I voice messaged him back. And this is what I said.
Wow, John, thank you so much.
Sounded like I was In a bath, huh?
Sounded like
Because we
that.
were taking oxygen baths this morning as I was checking my messages. And then I said a little more this morning.
Video of that presentation, that would be really cool to see, or at least share or convert to an article.
So I'm always thinking about giving value back to him. This was this morning while Keigan and I were taking cocoon baths. And then he said he's making an online presentation, and he said, thank you for everything that you do. Right? What can, like, people aren't doing this.
Nope.
What is so hard about this?
People don't care.
Is it that simple?
I think that's what it is. I truly think. Biggest shift for me, my agency in business, is I was guilty of the sales bro thing, and I will sit here and admit this. When we first met, I was in that zone.
Yeah,
Our
you were
first
trying to sales
interaction.
bro me. I remember that.
Absolutely, I was.
Yeah.
But what changed was that first meeting with Dennis. I was able to reflect on myself and realize this isn't the way to do things. Then I started caring about clients. I heeded certain advice. And this way of business where you build relationships and you build more clients off of that, if we're going to relate it back to that. First of all, it's easier. Second of all, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here in Vegas with you. I wouldn't be in Dallas with Roger Wakefield if I was just trying to sales bro and just get as many sales calls as I can and just try and churn and burn my clients. This is a lot more fun.
That's right. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to know, what do you think? Are you a sales bro? Are you guilty as charged? Are you finding that these little techniques are things that you believe you can't do because you don't have the influence to do it, or you're too busy, or it takes too much money, or you're just scrambling, so you have to hustle for every single dollar that you get, which actually gets you further and further into this hole because you're actually ruining your reputation when you do that. I don't go out there and hustle for leads. I don't cold call or cold email or try to get someone on a discovery call because that makes you look like you're desperate. If you're really good at what you do, you're out there knocking on the doors, right? And no offense if you're a salesperson, but if you are positioning yourself as premium, you never have to behave this way. People are coming to you. And if you have lots of room to take on clients, that also tells clients you don't keep clients, right? Because the folks I know who are doing really well in agency land, they can't take on any more clients. I mean, they have to hire more people, but that's the limiting factor, right? So think about that, sales bro. Think about how this changes things where if you build reputation, you build relationships, I promise you life on the other side is so much better than any kind of fake it till you make it, pretend I'm successful on Instagram, flex bro kind of nonsense that you might see. And don't listen to these other idiots because they're fake and broke and pretending too. Welcome to the real world. This is so much nicer, isn't it? Hey guys, go follow Keigan Carthy at visionmanagement.co and learn how he puts this into practice. He is a living, breathing practitioner, and I'm so proud of people like Keigan.